Hello everyone, Derek's Damn Toys, and we are back with another action figure review. Today we've got Legend Series 25, Ravishing Rick Rude, and I am excited to get this out there to you people because, if you guys didn't notice, which I mean it may have been hard in the camera view, but if you guys didn't notice, we got a little bit of a new model for the World Heavyweight Championship here included with this Rick Rude. First time we're seeing the new sculpt on the belt, by the way. We've also got all the other figures in the set. Psycho Sid and Bret Hart do come with the same championship belt, and then Bradshaw, or Justin Hawk Bradshaw, is the only man left out without a championship. Of course, with the gimmick that they represented there, you're not gonna get one because I don't think he ever won a championship at that time. Anywho, that's all besides the point. I digress. Why don't we get this Ravishing Rick Rude out of the collection? Out of its plastic prison now, shall we? Alrighty, you guys. Now that we've got Ravishing Rick Rude out of the plastic prison, we can go over all of the accessories. First things first, he does technically come with 3 different sets of hands. He's got 2 sets, a set of fist hands on the figure. He's got a set of weapon / mic holding hands, and a set of the slappy hands, or the Ricochet Quiet Leonard hands as MDT calls them. We also have the main accessory here, and the only accessory of importance, as I feel like everybody's got a set of these hands somewhere. But we've got the newly sculpted World Heavyweight Championship. It is on the same belt, if I recall correctly, but all the sculpting detailing on this baby is all new, and I am in love with this thing. Of course, this figure did technically come out a while ago, but I was waiting for it to hit a good sale, and a good sale indeed I did manage to find. And honestly, I am in love with this belt. I kind of want to get another Rick Rude just to have another world championship, and maybe customize the Rick Rude a little bit. Could use this for like a custom fodder body, I feel, especially because it does not include the upper bicep tattoo here on the Rick Rude figure like it does on the packaging here on the back, but meh, that's whatever. Getting into the rest of this figure though, getting into this head scan, I'd say this is probably one of the better Rick Rude head scans. There's been quite a few different kinds, Rick Rude with the long hair, Rick Rude with the beard that came with that Build-A-Figure, and then of course Rick Rude with the short hair, which is the look I've always kind of preferred seeing him in. Getting into the tights, we've got Rick on the side, you've got Awesome UT or whatever the fuck that says, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know. You got the best, numero uno, with a picture portrait painted onto his pants there. You've got Superb, you've got World Class, got Champion of Champions, you got Supreme, you got Etiquette, Unique, Top Notch, a bunch of different shit written across the tights of this guy. And he's got Rude on this side, he's got Rick on this side, got Rude on the other side. Really nice attention to detail here. And then you've got Simply Ravishing on the boots with nice white laces and nice white soles. Not gonna lie, you acetone the logos off of these. I feel like these would make for great boots as well to use on some of your wrestling figures. But all around, I am enjoying this Rick Rude. I know I did just put him down for a second. My hand was kind of cramping. You might have just heard my knuckle actually pop there. I don't know. I'll have to hear that going back into the recording. But getting into some of this articulation, his head can move around quite a bit, especially because unlike a lot of the other figures, he does not have long hair with this one, but he can look down quite a bit. One thing I've noticed with wrestling figures nowadays is the head is kind of like on a bobble depending on how you try to move it, which is the weird thing. But got some nice ways to pose the head scan there. Of course, you've got the bicep movement and the shoulder movement there. You've got the double jointed arms. You've got the wrist rotation and the wrist bend. If I can get that to bend back down. Not that it really matters though, as we are getting into articulation. We've got the nice ab crunch here with the nice waist articulation. You've got the upper leg movement, which, actually works really good on this Rick Rude. I am super happy to see that. Maybe we are moving somewheres out of the, realm of shitty posing in the legs. Knees are also fairly buttery smooth. I can actually pose both sets of knees with one hand here. So, always a nice touch when your figures pose the way you need them to. Speaking of that, though, I think I did just kind of take a little chip off the paint here playing around with it. The dangers of opening and playing with your figures if you want them to be worth money. I could care less. I've got enough of a collection to where I know I'm probably going to make something back, even if the figures are a little iffy. Got the Simply Ravishing boots that have the Simply Ravishing new articulation in them with the ankles moving pretty buttery smooth here. And then you've also got the boot rotation or the ankle rotation, whatever you would like to call it. And yeah, with all that being said, I would like to get into one little comparison here for those of you who have never owned a World Heavyweight Championship from the later years, I guess you could say. You can already see the major differences amongst these two as the new one just pops. All because of that unique sculpting there. Look at all that detail compared to the little bit of detail. You can barely see the World Heavyweight Championship words on this plate. I have to zoom in so much. But with this one, I can almost see it from afar. I could read that perfectly fine. And that's simply what makes this figure probably one of the top tier figures to go after in this year. Enough said though. Why don't we get this Rick Rude all posed up and we can get into our final thoughts now, shall we? Alrighty, you guys. Now that we've got Rick Rude in his final pose, he's getting ready to hit that ravishing neck breaker, aka the sit out neck breaker, where he sits instead of lays flat for the bump. Always kind of love that variation on the neck breaker, and of course the way he does it, he adds that little extra flair with jiving his hips around and then he drops down. Either way, perfect figure, I'd say. Honestly, I really don't have that many complaints here. Of course, if you guys do invest into this figure, he does have a chase variant, so keep your eyes out for that. I did not get lucky with this, but honestly, for the price point, can't really ever complain about chases and stuff like that when you're getting this for under retail pricing. And yes, I did indeed get this for under retail pricing. I think because it was on sale for 13 something online, I got it for roughly a little over 20 bucks total. And honestly, you know what? That sounds perfect for me, considering, where I live and stuff. The average I'd pay is 25 bucks, so anything under 25 is considered under retail for me. And yeah, with all that being said, I did say this figure is simply a perfect figure, but how perfect is it when we scale it on the ranking of 1 to 10, and when we get into the 1 to Young Buck match or the Dave Meltzer star rating? Because, why wouldn't we do a Dave Meltzer star rating around here? Anywho, this action figure, honestly, it kind of warms my heart up a little bit. And I say that because back when I was a wee little boy, back in the day, aka, I'm gonna be fucking 25 at some point this year. sad realization. Anyway, when I was just like a wee little boy, I had the Legends, what was it, like Series 7 Rick Rude, and the red and yellow gear with like the penciled in looking face on the crotch and all that kind of stuff. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Pretty iconic figure in my opinion. And I wasn't even growing up during this period in time when Rick Rude was on TV and stuff of that nature, really. But all that being said, I still loved that figure back then, barely knowing who the hell he was. And I honestly love the figure that we are getting nowadays, knowing a little bit more about him and like how his career ended in Japan and a lot of that different and unique stuff that comes with Rick Rude's backstory. And honestly, just all that being said, aka enough said, I'm gonna give this man a good scaling, a good old 8.5 out of 10. The reason why I don't give him a good old solid 9 or even 9.5 out of 10, because you know, if we gave a figure a solid 10, then how would we ever rank another figure that may beat that figure in our opinion? But when it comes down to this guy, the only thing that drives me away from giving him the perfect ranking, because, you know, unless you're thinking about maybe picking this one up for a little bit of customization, the arm tattoo missing would definitely be a great detail there. And honestly, I could have accepted not having a certain set of hands, aka like the fist hands or something, for like a robe or something that could have maybe gone along with this gear. Maybe he didn't wear a robe with this gear. I don't know, maybe they weren't going to go out of their way to make 2 separate robes for 2 separate gears, which understandable, but at least a robe for maybe like the Chase variant would have been a cool, unique way to set that one off really well, because, you know, we haven't really gotten a Chase variant that's had that much uniqueness to it. Like, yeah, we've gotten some where the head scans were like a tad bit different, like the Grayson Waller Chases, just because the one Grayson Waller has a cleaner haircut on it compared to the other Grayson Waller. Like, just a bunch of weird little stuff, I guess you could say. It doesn't always have to come down to just the gear or just the head scan. Maybe some of the accessories could set these things apart, and either way, that's not a terrible thing that they don't do it or haven't really done it, because I don't recall it. But it would be a nice inclusion to see for Chase variant figures nonetheless down the line. With that all being said though, I gave this man a good solid 8.5 out of 10. I think on the 1 to Young Buck scaling, the 1 to 5 stars, the Dave Meltzer rating, I have to give this man a good solid 4.2 out of 5 stars. I would give him a 4.5 star, but I think the 4.2 or the 4.25 works just fine for me. And if it doesn't work fine for you, well, womp womp, I guess. But speaking of all that, I would like to get signed out of here, as I don't really have all that much more else to say. So, you know, if you liked the video, feel free to like the video. And if you did not like the video, womp womp, I guess. Maybe it's because I don't have a tripod yet. But if you did like the video and you guys would like to, feel free to help me out. And, you know, maybe go check out some of my other action figure reviews. Yesterday, we did just review the new Elite Series 116 Lexus King figure. I do have it sitting over here. I just kind of like had it interlocked in a pose because I was messing around with this figure a lot yesterday after I did the review, and I fixed the leg movement so he can actually pose his legs, because if you watched the review, you would know his legs were not posable. But yeah, we reviewed him up the other day, or well, yesterday technically, and well, already doing a good number of views there as we look at it on the dirty ass phone, because I can't lie, I didn't wipe it down compared to yesterday, though it does look a little bit cleaner, so maybe my girlfriend wiped it down while she was using it a bit. Of course, on top of checking out some of the action figure reviews, maybe, go check out some of the pick fed content, as I didn't really mention the pick fed all that much here. And well, that not necessarily being for good reason, but speaking of the pick fed, just a little small thing to add into this outro. I did complete filming for episode 14, if I recall correctly. I'm sorry if I'm not remembering the exact number off the top of my head, but I want to say it was episode 13 was the last one. So episode 14 should hopefully be out by Friday, because I do have to get in touch with my boy Action Figure Universe to do the review, do the commentary for the main event. Either way, nonetheless, just waiting till Friday so we can get into that Zoom call and get all that good old stuff out of the way, and maybe chat it up a little bit like we usually do after we do the co-commentary. Anywho, with all that being said, on top of checking out some of my other content, if you guys could, feel free to subscribe. After all, it doesn't hurt to subscribe. As you guys saw, we are currently sitting at 348 subscribers, something that I am starting to really cherish dearly, because as of yesterday we were at like 344 or 345, maybe like 346, I don't know. And within those few days, already got a couple more subscribers, and now we just need 2 more. So if there's any one of you that haven't subscribed yet, feel free to do so. I'm not begging you though, don't feel obligated or nothing like that. It's not like those commercials back when I was growing up where they'd have the "In the Arms of the Angel" song and they'd be asking you to donate for them dogs. I'm not asking you that at all. If you could though, just subscribe. If not, it's cool though. You won't ever hear "In the Arms of the Angels" on here. I promise you won't ever hear that. Anyway, don't know why I ranted about that for so long. On that note though, we are going to sign out of here. So, have a good rest of your day, night, evening, whatever the case may be. I don't know, because I'm not in your time zone. But, on that note, deuces, ooses, yeet.